Welcome to the Under the Halo podcast, our second installment. Last time we had Mike Trout. Today we have a Southern California native, Griffin Canning, who spent his high school baseball days at Santa Margarita Catholic High, then went up to UCLA and now is here with the Angels, where he's been his entire career. Now in his sixth season of Major League Baseball, we reflect on a lot of things that Griffin Canning is interested in his life. Of course, we spent some time talking about baseball as well as we get to know Griffin Canning a little deeper. With us now, very special guest. We have Angels starting pitcher Griffin Canning with us, talking about a lot of different things today. We'll talk a little bit of baseball, talk a little bit about life, some cool things going on with Griffin here at the ballpark. First and foremost, Griffin, it's good to see you. Glad to be up here, spending some time with you today. And man, for you, last couple starts, things seem to be trending in the right direction. How are you feeling on the mound these days?
Yeah, for sure. I'm starting to feel pretty good. Couple good ones to build off, but same thing, like once one start ends, the next one starts. So just staying focused on one day at a time. What's
the week like? Like when you're like you say, okay, one start ends, you're getting ready for the next one. So like what's like the week build out for you for everything leading up to a start?
Day after, kind of just riding the bike and recovering a little bit. Day 2, throw a bullpen, work out. Day 3, playing catch. Day 4, same thing, playing catch, doing some sprints, and then all in between, just kind of trying to get familiar with the hitters and how we're going to attack them.
We were talking at spring training about the Pilates that you felt like had a huge impact on what you were able to do on the mound. How did all that come to be?
When I hurt my back in 2021, one of our PT, Mark, was reaching out. We had talked about me doing Pilates in the past. So he ended up finding a place it's called Newport Physical Therapy, so I could do my physical therapy there, and there's a little Pilates studio in there too, so I could do the Pilates as well. But honestly, it's for sure changed my career. Something I'm going to do the rest of my life. And then we have a couple other guys who started going in. Sandy goes in pretty frequently during the off season, and then a couple times when we're here during a homestand.
What even goes into that? Like, I have no idea. Like, for me, like I can't even do stretching like at the gym. Like I'm a mess. Like what goes into like a Pilates regimen?
For one, obviously core strength has been a big help. But for me, it's helped body awareness. Yeah. I kind of learned a lot of my compensations. I think as athletes, you might not realize you're compensating. Your body figures out a way to be able to do what it needs to do. So yeah, just kind of helped me learn my body a little bit better.
So you got Sandy in there? And that's going okay. Is he up to speed with where you're at right now? How's that going?
I don't know. I've been doing it a little bit longer, so I think I still got a little bit of an edge on him, but he's good at it for sure.
I know you guys are tight. Like, it seems like this pitching group as a whole is pretty connected. Like, what's the dynamic with you guys as a rotation?
Yeah, I think we've just been together for a couple of years. So we enjoy each other's company. We enjoy talking baseball. We enjoy hanging out off the field. I think that's probably the biggest thing. We enjoy each other off the field, so it kind of just translates to being here in the clubhouse. And I mean, we're with these guys so much that it's hard not to become good friends.
Is that something like off season rolls around, you guys are still getting together, that kind of thing, or when the baseball season's done, you kind of shut it off? Like, how does that kind of play out?
I think baseball players in general kind of like, because we are with each other so much, as the off season hits and it's kind of go do your own thing, and then as we get picked back up, like start throwing again, might check in a little bit, but you kind of like guys go do their own thing
for sure. So I've always kind of wanted to know, and I'm not looking for like specifics. If you'd like to share them, feel free. But when I see the starters all sitting together, end of the dugout during games, you guys are watching like. Like, what are you doing during that time? Is it just like talking about whatever's going on that day, or like you like trying to pay attention? Like what's going on?
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
If a guy's getting into jam, I think we're talking like what we think he's going to throw there, what we're seeing from hitters, or just talking about something completely else. It really could be anything.
I bet. But in regards to like your role with this group, I mean, you've been around for a little bit now. You say it's a staff that has been together. It has, and it's cool watching everybody not just mature as players, but also just kind of as people and growing up and how that's going and taking on leadership roles. I know that's something that's been important to you. How has maybe that leadership role, kind of defined the way that your career has progressed the last few years?
Yeah, obviously it was cool hearing what Wash had to say in spring training.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to prove him right. And yeah, whatever I can do. I think I'm not the most vocal guy, but if I can lead by example and little things like how we field our position or something like that, then that's what I'm going to do.
Speaking of Wash, so we see him make these mound visits, and sometimes he'll go tell Hop, like, hey, stay back. Like, yeah, I'm going one-on-one right now. Have you had one of those yet? And, like, what goes through your mind when you see Wash come out of the dugout?
If he does that, I know it's a good thing because I know he's not going to take me out. I would say most guys feel the same way. Sometimes you just need a breather right there, but he's usually really encouraging and gets you fired up to go get that. It's probably going to be your last guy, so fires you up to go get that last guy.
I mean, he seems like an all-time motivator. Like, does that kind of stuff, like, does that make a difference for you? Like, when you're out there, like when your manager goes out and says the kind of belief he has in you to go get it done, or maybe for some guys, kind of challenging, like, hey, nobody thinks you're going to get this guy. You got to go get him. Like, how does that kind of play out?
Yeah, I think it's super encouraging. Even when I'm not pitching, I hear him in the dugout. Like, we get out of jams, he's fired up. So to know that the coaches are in it with you and behind you definitely helps when you're out on the mound. But yeah, Wash is awesome. He's just a baseball guy.
Speaking of stuff that fires you up, I know you are a big music guy, and I was looking through. Fans can go find it. You have a public Spotify account where people can go check out your music, which is kind of cool. It's all songs I've never heard of. I have no idea. I have no idea what any of that stuff is. But like, how would you describe like your musical taste?
I don't know. I think I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. I feel like usually it's based off the weather. If the weather's like once we get into summer, then it's usually more like beachy, alternative, or reggae. I like old school rock, like 70s rock. I try and listen to everything.
I'm like just the boring like country only guy. I don't venture out, so that's probably why I don't know what the stuff is. But that being said, like, are you like a music guy? Is this something that's been part of your life for a while? Is it something you're into, or is it just kind of like you just like listening?
I just like listening to music. I mean, I love going to concerts. We have Simber. Simber's the guy, probably the biggest music guy.
He's a music guy?
He's playing guitar. He brings the guitar on the road and stuff. Obviously, Cole Tucker plays some instruments, I think, too. Tucker's so you got Simber on guitar. You got Tucker's the drummer. Yeah. Like we can fill out the rest of the band here. Yeah. Like you need a bass player because you guys might have something going here. Yeah, but I don't know. I grew up in my mom's car. She always used to play Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, those kind of bands. So I love that kind of music, and I think that's probably where it started. But yeah, I just enjoy listening to music.
Speaking of your mom, cool to spend Mother's Day out here with her. We saw her throw the first pitch, and you getting to be a part of that, everything that she has been through. Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was special. I think my mom said after it's going to be a core memory for us and for our whole family that was here. Obviously it was really special to get her out there and to be able to throw the first pitch with grace. It was special. And
having to go through what she went through. I mean, being diagnosed with breast cancer and now being on the other side of it. Like, when you're trying to pitch and you're trying to have a major league career and you got that kind of stuff going on at home, like, how do you separate?
I mean, she handled it really, really well. I think early on we kind of talked about, I mean, my view of it was to not let it kind of define who she was. It was just something that had popped up, and she just had to deal with it, and whatever came, and you handle it as it goes. So I think she did an awesome job at doing that. I think she had like 5 months off of work too, and I honestly think she really enjoyed just having that time for herself because she's worked for her whole entire life. So I think she really enjoyed just having some time for herself. And I think that helped with her recovery, just kind of getting her mind off things, being able to go do different things, not be stuck at work all day. So she handled it really well, and she's doing awesome.
If I may, I'm going to just tell you how proud your mom is of you. So I remember the first time I met her. This was it's supposed to be 2018. You were just drafted. And we're doing a visit at like a local company that was a sponsor for the Angels, and there was an autograph signing going on there. And there's this big line, all kinds of Angels people around. And she's like doing her grocery shopping. I didn't know who it was. She just walks up. She's like, "Hey, you with the Angels? Like, what's going on here?" I said, "Yeah, we're doing an autograph signing. Like, would you like an autograph? We could get you in line." She's like, "Well, my son's with the Angels." I said, "Oh, cool. Who is it?" Well, you probably don't know who he is. He's in the minor leagues. You wouldn't know him. And I said, well, maybe I do. What's his name? He goes, Griffin. She goes, Griffin Canning. I'm like, oh my gosh, you kidding me? Of course, followed your whole UCLA career and all that. And she was like, so proud to talk about you. I thought that was a pretty neat like first impression I got to know of the Canning family and what was that all like. But for you growing up in Southern California, being around a family that like, has big time support for you, like what was like childhood Griffin Canning like? Like coming up and learning how to play baseball, maybe doing other sports. Like what was it like growing up here in SoCal?
It was pretty much just baseball. I played a ton of baseball, but it was fun. I mean, during the week, I'd go to school a couple nights a week. I would have practice. Or like batting cages, stuff like that. But I think probably every single weekend from 8 years old until I was probably 15, 16, I had a baseball tournament somewhere. But I mean, that my family was obviously very supportive and being able to drive me into these games, pay for all these tournaments and to play on these teams. So I'm obviously really grateful for that.
Did you enjoy that? Or did you ever feel like burnout at any point?
I never felt burnt out. I loved it. I was really fortunate in some of the teams that I grew up playing for and had some really good coaches. We always had practices on Sunday nights too. So there was a lot of weekends where I'd play 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, and then go home and then go to practice Sunday night. But like a lot of guys would do that. That's just what we did. We loved baseball and it was fun.
And you probably pitched 3 days in a row? Like, was that the deal? Because by the time you're getting to UCLA, you're throwing like 170 pitches in some of these outings and like putting like legendary numbers up. But that's how it was, right? When you're coming up, that's as a kid playing baseball, you just play. You don't think about that kind of stuff.
No, I think you just played, played for the love of the game. But I don't think I wasn't too worried about throwing too much or anything like that, and it's worked out so far.
It's funny too, like being in Southern California, the players that you're around. I remember being in Little League and thinking like the major leagues seem like the most ludicrous, far-fetched. There's no chance of ever getting there. And then like being in SoCal, like guys, I played Little League, get to the major leagues. Mm-hmm. You were able to get it done growing up in Orange County, as did I. But man, you got here. Was there ever a point in your life where that was a goal of yours that seemed attainable, seemed real, like this was going to happen?
I think that was my goal my whole entire life. I honestly have never once thought about doing anything else. So I get those questions like, what would you be doing?
Yeah.
I have no idea because I honestly never thought about it. But I remember once I got into high school, I think my sophomore year, some colleges started talking to me. I think UCLA was the first or second school that talked to me.
Yeah.
And I honestly hadn't even thought about playing in college or beyond. I was just playing. Didn't really think too much of it. And then obviously once I got to UCLA or my senior year of high school, when the draft's coming around and you start doing that stuff. But then once being at UCLA, it felt like I was pretty close to being able to do it.
Grew up in Southern California, grew up right here in Orange County, go Santa Margarita High School, UCLA, pitching now for the Angels where you've been your whole career. I mean, you are the personification of homegrown. What does home mean to you, spending a whole career to this point, basically within a 10, 15-mile radius?
Obviously, it's been super special just being able to play for the team that I grew up coming to the games as a kid, had season tickets. But honestly, I love playing here. I love my family being able to come to the games and everything, but I love playing on the road too. I love being able to go see other stadiums, different cities. I've always really enjoyed playing on the road for whatever reason, probably because I've always just been at home. So sometimes it's nice to just go play at these other stadiums, but to be able to have my family and friends come out to pretty much every single start of mine is really special. Do you have a favorite ballpark to pitch in? I mean, I know the team is going to matter year to year, right? But like a ballpark. I mean, some of the Fenway is always super special. I threw at Petco a couple years ago, and I like pitching there. It usually boils down to how you do at a stadium, or just how the mound is and stuff like that. Did you have a favorite player growing up? Angels, it was always David Eckstein and Francisco Rodriguez. But I liked I mean, everybody liked Derek Jeter.
For sure.
And then as I got a little bit older, guys like Zach Greinke were the guys I kind of watched a lot.
So if you're a Fenway guy, like, are you like a baseball history guy? Like, are you into like the history of the game, that kind of stuff? You pay attention to that?
I don't know about super deep history.
Sure.
I watch a lot of baseball. I consume a lot of baseball. So, but mostly just watching games. Like, I don't know. I like being on the West Coast because we have these games on the East Coast that start at 1 o'clock, so we can get here and watch games all day until the game starts. But I watch a lot of baseball. I don't know how much.
Well, I was kind of curious about that because we go down to the clubhouse and you guys have some TVs in there, and every time we're in the clubhouse, there's always a game on. It feels like, especially as you mentioned here on the West Coast. And I've always kind of wondered, like, are you guys actually paying attention to that? Are you like trying to watch what's going on around the rest of the league, or is it just on and you're handling other stuff? But it sounds like you do pay attention to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go look like pitching matchups just to see who, like, good pitching matchups that I'd want to watch. But I mean, there's a balance of baseball and outside of baseball. I think one of the things I learned being hurt was that you needed to be able to get outside of baseball and do other things and not be so consumed with things here. I think you've seen like Simber talking about it this year, just not putting so much pressure on himself at baseball and just kind of realizing he has a life outside of baseball is really helpful. So
when you went through that injury, what were maybe some of those things beyond the game that you felt like were important for you to find?
Honestly, I pretty much went to the beach every single day.
I mean, like, come on, we live here. Like, yes, of course, that's what you're going to do, right?
Obviously, it sucked not being able to play and be here with the guys, but one of the first summers off I've had in my whole entire life. So just being able to have a somewhat normal life for a little bit and just kind of step back and realize what might help me in the long run was really beneficial. I know that when you're coming off a back injury, probably not a whole lot of time on a surfboard, but like, do you surf now? Like, are you into that, or you just put your, toes in the sand and just hang out on the beach? I'll body surf. I'll go in there. Body surf. Yeah. But I love going in the water and then just kind of chill on the sand, read a book. Yeah. What kind of stuff are you into, like books wise? Do you try to find stuff that's like applicable to baseball, or are you just like that just escape time? Applicable to baseball or applicable to life. Yeah. Last year I read this book, The Power of Now, that I feel like really changed a lot of my kind of the mental side of the game and of life. And then this year I'm reading the mental ABCs of pitching. Just kind of read a couple chapters a day, and it's good stuff just to hammer in. How much do you feel like when you're on the mound is the mental side versus the physical component? Because it seems like if you didn't know baseball and you're just watching, you're like, oh wow, this stuff's really good. That seems unhittable. That's what it is. And then the next start, it's like, well, wait a minute, it didn't look like that before, and then maybe vice versa. So how much does the mental side come into play when you're on the mound? I think it's all mental. Obviously, you need your body to cooperate and do what it needs to do, but usually the more often you can get out of your own way and just kind of be in the moment, your body's going to take over and do what it knows to do. But yeah, it's all mental. It's so easy out there to get in a battle of you versus yourself instead of you versus the hitter. So I mean, you try and get external and not be so internal. So how do you get out of those battles? So like the book I'm reading right now, the mental ABCs of pitching, it just talks about like little tiny things like execution, or just ways to get, like when I was in college, we always had a thing. It's you versus the hitter. Mm-hmm. So I think little things like that the stuff you tell yourself over and over is usually the stuff that's going to become who you are. So that's what's been working for me lately. Just kind of me versus the hitter. It's competition. And that usually kind of like, I don't think I really changed anything mechanically, or I really just focus on me versus the hitter. And I think things have taken over from there. Is that something you talk about with teammates? Or is that individual? I probably talk about it the most with TA. We kind of had a similar background, just both Reed went to college too, but we both had Ken Ravizza as a mental skills coach, and this book is Harvey Dorfman, who's like the godfather of the mental skills of baseball, and Ken Ravizza was under him. So we just have a lot of similar background stuff of the mental game, so we probably talk about it the most.
All right, so if we're gonna go and we're gonna go with TA and get Patrick involved and Griff, and we're all gonna go to dinner and we're gonna go hang out. Where's a spot? Where should I check out if we're gonna go to a restaurant? Let me stop there because I have heard that if we were to go to like a 5-star Michelin restaurant or a 3-star, and we were going to go have a fancy steakhouse, big elaborate dinner, what would be something on the menu that would be appealing to you?
I'd probably get a filet.
That's actually better than I thought you were going to answer because I heard you were like a basic food guy.
Who said that?
I've had people tip me off. It's
I don't think
not Carson Fulmer. I know that's what you were thinking. It was not him.
I don't think I am. I feel like I've kind of evolved in my food tastes.
I got a bad tip then. All right, my bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I like most things. I'm willing to try most things. But at the same time, like if you know what you like, then why not eat what you like?
I understand that. I understand that absolutely. Hey, Griffin, it's been fun watching you on the mound. It's been fun watching you evolve. Now, as this season continues to progress, what are maybe some of the things that you're hoping like you can build off of what's going on well now that you're hoping to take with you the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think it just boils down to staying in the present, focusing on one day at a time. You know, not getting caught up in storylines and kind of letting your mind go off on these tangents and stuff, you know, just kind of control what you can control. Obviously, just keep putting in the work and staying healthy.
Griff, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Good stuff. Thanks for checking out our conversation with Angels starting pitcher Griffin Canning. To stay up to date on everything going on the Under the Halo podcast, be sure to click that subscribe button and also be sure to download and follow everything that we have going on across Angels social media channels, the Angels website, angels.com/podcast, as well as the AM830 app and AM830.net. All cool places where you can find this pod and several others that we've done, including last time's conversation with Mike Trout. I'm Trent Rush. Thanks for checking out the Under the Halo podcast.